Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem. Yahushua, Ba'Shem, Harakah, Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of the great Milestone that rule well. And Shalom to all the brothers doing the work, sincerity and truth. Got this article on BBC. And it's interesting because it kind of ties up with what was put out. Like, shortly after you had, like, the riots over here, you had what Keir Starmer saying he'll put the full force of the law to come against, those people rioting, and how they're kind of looking into the online and whatnot, and ways to basically, restrict all the people that have been out there doing the madness. So, this is like the latest piece. So it's on BBC. It says what misogyny is to be treated as extremism by UK government. And, them saying misogyny, that already just lets them paint a very broad brush. They can basically just apply that depending on, whatever little aspect they kind of want to look at. And then just say, like, okay, look, you're being investigated under this. Then it allows them to do things, like where they can, suspend your rights far more easily. What does it say? So it says, extreme misogyny will be treated as a form of extremism under new government plans, the Home Office has said. Yvette Cooper, the Home Secretary, has ordered a review of the UK's counter-extremism strategy to determine how best to tackle threats posed by harmful ideologies. The analysis will look at hatred of women as one of the ideological trends that the government says is gaining traction. Ms. Cooper said there has been a rise in extremism, both online and on our streets, and that phrased the very fabric of our communities and our democracy. And yeah, that's kind of because everything's been escalating, everything's been turning up, and it's really like in the Western world, it's kind of like since 2016 where it kind of like cranked up for the US as well, underneath Obama as well, because of the financial crisis. That also, had people getting irate because while they were getting fucked over, they were losing their houses, had no job. Their lifestyle would have been cut back, off the back of that. But then what does it say? The review will look at the rise of Islamist and far-right extremism in the UK, as well as wider ideological trends, including extreme misogyny or beliefs which fit into broader categories such as violence. And the thing, they say extreme misogyny, but then in reality, that can just be applied as broadly as they desire, because whatever, that could just be something like, if you're saying, and obviously we speak from the scriptures, they can make it as simple, as plain as they want, or apply it even more broadly. And then there's not really going to be any, there's not really going to be apply like any kind of way to kind of like keep yourself out of it. Because they can just say, like, oh, you've said this, and then they say, well, okay, look, that could you've said you could be reading the scriptures, or even saying like, oh, you want to have the women, you want to have your household in order, and that could be something that it applies to. Because with that language, there's no kind of like hard line of what it means. It can mean anything. And then when they're investigating, they'll just apply it broadly, because that's the thing with these laws. The way they're utilized is they put them in a vague sense, where they just say, oh, we're gonna look at like extreme misogyny, whatever, Then they'll have a few loose categories, but then anything they kind of want, they can just throw it in a category and be like, yeah, fuck it, that counts. And these are the things that have been done before. It's like basically coming against, what brothers are teaching. And that's where I'm really looking at the end goal. It might not be this in particular, but with all these extra categories being added, it's things that can be used against the prophets. But then obviously it might not happen immediately, because when that happens, when hands get laid on the prophets, that's when everything turns up. But hey, you never know. That's why we watch. We're watchmen. We watch for these things. Scopeo these things. So it says it will also look at the causes and conduct of the radicalization of young people. Ms. Cooper said the strategy will map and monitor extremist trends to work out how to disrupt and divert people away from them. And that's the thing as well, is this isn't just one thing by itself. There's multiple other things coming in. Because like you have the guy getting over here, where you had people getting thrown in jail for tweets, getting months in jail off tweets, which then you just kind of line up. Obviously, brothers put the videos out, so then they can just go and say like, okay, well, no, this is now underneath this category. We've classified it as this. You've and with the UK, the way they have the so-called that freedom of speech has done not existed for forever over here. They've basically had like the Public Order Act, Section 4A, where it's like if you say something that causes distress and alarm, so you could say you could just shout and scream like, "Ugh!" And then if that causes someone distress and alarm, then you can get arrested, you can get grabbed up and thrown in jail overnight off the back of that. You can't just say, "Oh, I got free speech." That don't apply. But what it said, it will also identify any gaps in existing policy that will need to be addressed to crack down on those pushing harmful and hateful beliefs and violence, she said. So yeah, it's broad as fuck. And then again, we're just teaching the scriptures, but then again, they can apply it how they want to apply it. Because it was the same thing. It was Yahweh Shai, they came with false bearing false witness against him, because why? They desired what they desired. They wanted to have him grabbed up and put to death. And it's going to be the same with us in these times now. It's going to hit that. That's the thing is this might not be it, but then there will hit a point where it will get to where they're gonna desire to to grab up brothers will be grabbed up, thrown in jail, some will be put to death. That's in the scriptures. So that's something to always keep at the forefront of your mind. So I read this, Amos 8:11. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine, saith the Most High Power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord Yahweh. So you're hearing the word of the Lord, there's that famine of the word's going to come to where brothers won't be able to be out in the street corners. Brothers, you go online, you won't be able to find videos, you won't be able to find lessons. It will basically come down to, what's it called? What the work you've done up to that point, the foundation you built. And that's really what's going to be necessary to endure. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. But I'll read a bit more. So it says, what Ms. Cooper said, the action against extremism has been hollowed out in recent years. The work will inform a new counter-extremism strategy, which was promised in Labour's manifesto, and which the Home Office says will respond to growing and changing patterns of extremism across the UK. And yeah, whatever they classify that as, they can just set whatever they desire to be as like, yeah, that's what extremism now is now. And yeah, the incels as well. That was an angle that was used before. What else? You had the incel guys going out there doing shootings. There was one in the UK, but it was over in the US. I think there was a few more. And then that was kind of like, oh, they're saying, these dangerous ideologies and people being online. And a lot of these things, when they're discussing it, it's talking about on the web. And then again, it's like brothers post videos on the web. So, over here they can easily just flip it to where they're like, okay, because there's no free speech to say, oh, you're violating XYZ. Grab brothers up, man. Hey, you never know. 2 Corinthians 2:11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And yeah, that's why, we watch, we pay attention, because why? We're not ignorant of Satan's devices. We're basically looking at like, oh, okay. They could be easily setting this up. This could be something they can use. It's the same with, you had the hack of the, what was it called? In the US, social security numbers, I believe it's called. You had the huge hack, what's meant to be millions upon millions of them getting out there. And all these little things, bit by bit, you piece them together, then you can see them pushing towards the beast system. Matthew 10:24 says the disciple is not above his master, nor the servant above his Lord. It is enough for the disciple that he be as his master, and the servant as his Lord. If they have called the master of the house Beelzebub, how much more shall they call them of his household? Fear them not, therefore, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed. So yeah, just as the servant has to be his master, we have to be as Yahushua. And then what? It says, if they've called the master of the house Beelzebub, how much more shall they call him of the household? So yeah, it's with, as far as with us being persecuted, being villainized in this time, that's something that should be expected. You go to the book of Acts, and then you have it in there as well. It's plain as day. It pleased the people. Is what it was James, I believe, that was put to death. And then the Caesar at the time, I believe it was Augustus, saw that it pleased them, and then put more of them to death. And that's something we should expect now, because as far as with the prophets, us being out there, people don't like us out there. They're not out there thinking like, wow, you really like. And the thing is as well is we're basically preaching the end of the downfall of this current kingdom. And these guys are looking, that's something they don't desire to see. And as it becomes more and more apparent, people are going to be getting upset. Just like now, the guys going out and rioting, they're outside kicking up a fuss. Why? Because they wanted a slice of the pie, man. They wanted to live good. They were thinking like, yo, I'm English, I'm in England. Like, why am I not living good? Why am I not up there? But lo and behold, fear them not, therefore, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, and hid that shall not be known. Yeah. And then finish on this, Revelation 2:10, it says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and you shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. And yeah, that's basically the mindset we're in. We're looking at like, okay, we could easily be grabbed up, we could easily be thrown in jail, and that's just something you just got to hold. Regardless of what the fallout of it is, you have to be in a mindset where you're like, okay, if those things go down, if those things happen, your faith is set and secure enough to wherein you're not going to fold. Because that's the thing with our temptation. It's what. Yeah, that's the thing with our temptation. It's basically going to be made clear. Okay, now, who the Lord's men are, basically. Because why? those that endure to the end, those that hold it. Yeah, I'll leave it there. Shalom, shalom. Yabashim Shabashim Makak Dashbek Shalom.